Her 12,000 square foot Manhattan apartment, designed by the famed Mario Bawata, is every woman's fantasy. Mariah Carey escapes here to watch movies in the Mermaid Room, to play with her famous dog Jack in the kitchen, to rest her voice by sleeping in a custom steam room, to entertain in her living room, where her idol Marilyn Monroe's piano is placed almost as a shrine. A floor below, one bathroom is also dedicated to Marilyn, and another one is a playful repository of all things Hello Kitty, gifts mostly from her Japanese fans. This is also where Mariah from working-class Long Island becomes Mariah the superstar.
Mariah, I've never seen anything like this. It's like a movie set.
Well, that's a pretty big statement coming from you.
The closet is bigger than most people's living rooms, and still, Mariah tells me she has nothing to wear.
I call it the family room, and that's because I put all the pictures that basically my...
Through another door, it gets personal. Here is her life in photos. The black father, the white mother. It's a memory room. Memories of a mother disowned by her family for marrying a black man. Memories of her parents' divorce and a life of transience and turmoil.
This was my thing.
The fireplace from her own divorce, the only piece she kept from the broken home. Still, she loves this room. Her career began 16 years ago, shepherded by a single man, Tommy Mottola. He was her boss, her mentor, and ultimately, her husband. When their marriage was finished, many believed Mariah was also. The emancipation of Mimi is the validation of Mariah Carey. It was last year's #1 selling CD, 6 times platinum. And for the record, Mariah has just tied Elvis with 17 #1 singles. Add to that 3 Grammys and a performance at the ceremony 3 weeks ago that's being called one of the greatest of her career.
Mariah, you gave a wonderful performance at the Grammys, and you got a standing ovation. And that was terrific. You won 3 awards for R&B.
Yes.
But you did not win the #1 album of the year, even though you had the #1 album of the year. You did not win Best Song of the Year, even though you had the Best Song of the Year. Why?
You know, it actually means more to me to win in the R&B category.
Mariah.
I promise you, I'm not lying to you. Yes, of course I wanted Album of the Year. Who didn't want that? And I felt I deserved it. Yeah, that would have been great, but you know what? I'm blessed to have gotten the 3 that I got.
You have written or co-written every song that you've sung.
Right.
That's amazing. And you can't read music.
No, I can't.
So take me through the process. How do you do it?
Let's say I'm working with a great piano player. I can play piano, but I'm terrible. So we'll sit down together, and I'll start humming something, and he'll start playing something. And he'll direct me in one place, and I might say, I'm hearing this chord, and it's almost there, but I hear one little shade of difference. It's humming out chord progressions, because the ideas come too quickly for me as the bleak piano player that I am.
I want to talk about the whole business of your being biracial. When you think of yourself, do you think I'm black, I'm white, I'm neither? What?
Well, I definitely don't think I'm white, because we have the 1-drop rule in this country, which says if you're 1 drop, you know, it comes from slavery. All that stuff comes from slavery. I think of myself as a human being.
You had a difficult childhood. Most people know that, but they don't know the particulars.
Right. You know, there was a lot of turmoil because of the fact that I was from an interracial family, and having older siblings who had their own own things going on in their lives.
Okay. When you were growing up, your sister was on the streets. Your sister was a prostitute. Did you know?
I wasn't supposed to know things that were going on ever in my childhood, but I was inquisitive and I was intelligent, and I knew things that I wasn't necessarily supposed to know.
What a childhood. Singing was the escape. When did you know that that would be your way out?
From the time I started singing, which was basically simultaneous with the time I started talking, I knew that music was just something I had to have near me. I used to take the radio from the kitchen and put it underneath the covers when I was like 4 years old and just sing with whatever was on the radio. It was always that release for me.
The things that are known about you in this chaotic life, the marriage when you were very young to Tommy Mottola, who helped you with your career and then took over your career. And then you divorced him. The Cinderella story, the great big house you walked away from. You said it was the toughest thing you ever had to do. Why was it so tough?
It was very frightening. I mean, when you are in that world of ultra-powerful men and you're really young, it's easy to be controlled and to be scared. And it wasn't just me. Everybody around me was scared too. Grown-ups, you know, certain family members told me they were scared when that went on. When we did an interview, I went to Jamaica. I was like, I'm getting out of town.
I did the interview, I remember. What's your relationship now with Tommy Mottola?
I haven't spoken to him. You know what? I've had to learn that forgiveness is one of the most important things in life. And so, you know, I hope that he forgives me for anything that I did that hurt him, and I forgive him. Do I wish that I could go back and talk to that really young girl who had no one there to say, you don't have to deal with this? Yeah, I do, but it made me strong enough to deal with anybody, and if anybody thinks they can manipulate me again like that, they are dead wrong.
5 years ago, 2001, you had an emotional meltdown. You were in rehab for a couple of weeks. Very painful time. You said it was exhaustion. Describe it today. Was that all it was, exhaustion?
It was a long, long time of being exhausted and finally just having the straw that broke the camel's back come in and break it. Why did I say it was the toughest thing I did, leaving the marriage? Because my whole career was tied up in that situation as well. But at a certain point, the fight just got too much for me, and I had to say, look, I'm wasting too much energy on this negativity because I don't live to fight. I live I'm an artist, and that's what I do. And I had to kind of hit bottom and work myself into the ground in order to wake up one day and be like, you know what? None of this is what really matters. And what matters is I'm blessed with the gift to make music.
It must have been a ghastly time.
It was a horrible time.
Was there ever a point when you thought of suicide?
No. I did not think of suicide, and that's one thing that upset me very much, because there were a lot of young kids who look up to me and believe in what I say, and I did not want them to think that that was a possible way out.
Mariah, you are a survivor. I mean, if ever a word was written for you, it's survivor.
When people have interviewed me for this record in particular about the emancipation of Mimi and shouldn't this be called the vindication of Mariah Carey and what about all the naysayers that counted you out and this, that, and the third, and it's like, well, if they counted me out, then they just had to count me back in.